Hi guys, welcome to another movie crew review. Today we'll be reviewing Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. The movie stars Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree, Henry, and Dan Stevens.
So this is a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong and part of the Godzilla franchise coming out of the States. So we see Godzilla protecting the Earth as he has been for many years now, working to fight the Titans, whereas Kong has finally returned back to the Hollow Earth from many years of banishment in the Skull Island. And then we see our characters, Rebecca Hall and Brian Tyree Henry, travel to the Hollow Earth to see why there's a random signal that they have not identified. And a lot of the film takes place in that landscape, so it's a very interesting and different take on a typical Godzilla film. So if you'd like to take us away, Moon?
Alright, I'll start off. So this is the second time Adam Wingard has directed Godzilla movie. So first he directed Godzilla vs. Kong. And I think this guy gets what to do with these movies. Even though we watched Godzilla -1 and that's a whole different regime, but this movie is entirely different. This is more like cheesy fun. And I absolutely love this movie. So this time they did one thing great was they reduced the human characters. So you got rid of the annoying Millie Bobby Brown stuff. So yeah. And so all the characters were, even they were less, I sort of like them all. Most of them. You got one annoying character who always get killed, so you have to have that as well. And let's talk about the kaiju fight scenes. Oh, they were amazing. There were a lot of them. In the beginning, they showed like a daily routine of Kong. I think they showed similar in Skull Island too.
Yeah.
And then the plot of the movie, just, there's nothing there. So I think the trailer sort of ruins the movie. I think there is something revealed in the trailer. I wish it wasn't there. But apart from that, the fight scene, the last fight scene, it was I won't name the characters, but it was so good. And there were so many different colors. And I was just loving everything about that. One more thing, Adam Wingard, here's the thing, he like inverts the camera and then like it has like the Hollow Earth when the part from Earth to Hollow Earth, the gravity is on and off.
Yeah.
And he uses a neat trick, like he tilts the camera and it really fits the Hollow Earth. And one more thing, so when these big characters are in Hollow Earth, they seem small. But when they come onto the Earth, they look massive. And Kong, this baby Kong as well, he's in the trailers too. They have sort of a father, whatever it's in Kong world, it's called.
Yeah.
Rebecca Hall, I love her, and she was amazing in the movie. She has the same bond with Gia. So same bond, mother-daughter bond, and pretty well done throughout the movie. But the main focus is on the kaiju fight scene, the Titan fight scene. I think it's pretty well done. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie a lot.
So I have been spending the past week immersing myself in the Godzilla American style films and watching Monarch, the TV series from Apple TV. So it all links to that. So if you do want to understand the full picture, it's good to, I guess, explore into those, especially the later films, especially Kong versus Godzilla. You get a lot from at least the story, but it all links back to the original American reboot, the 2014 Godzilla film. I think that, in my opinion, you don't need to see it if you just want to get the basic gist. They kind of go over the main points in the film, so they don't spend too much time on them, but you kind of understand that there's some company and they work to track the Titans, and then you see a bunch of fighting. So it's good that we don't focus on the human relationships too much. The mother-adopted daughter relationship between Rebecca Hall's character and Kaylee Hoatley's character was quite good, and it's been established through different films because she's part of the Ewok people who from Skull Island, and they were the people that could telepathically communicate with the Kong. So it's good to see that their relationship is kind of going full circle. I enjoyed that we were in the Hollow Earth A lot of Godzilla films are usually on the main Earth, and lately with the American series, I would say that we've been coming more to where their home is. And we saw a glimpse of it in the last film, but we spend the majority of the film in this world. And yeah, like Moon said, when you're watching it, and because you're not going between the worlds too much, they really feel like just normal size characters. Like Planet of the Apes kind of came to my mind.
Yeah.
And so when you get onto the real world, you forget that mini Kong, who looks like he's about 4 feet tall, is like the size of like a skyscraper. You forget that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the effects. I think they're done really well. Because there's not a lot of human acting and things like that, there's no real poor performances in that respect. Other than that, I believe it was a well done film, good entry to the franchise. I mean, if there wasn't another film, it's not really capped it off, but the title, I guess, gives it away that Kong and Godzilla are going to be working together, but they're not working together for the whole film. That's something to be clear about. It's about 2 hours, and it's really near the end part of the film that they team up, and they only team up because they've got common enemies. They're not doing it for the sake of doing it. So it's one of those interesting story points that if you're expecting them, to be working as a team in the whole film, it's not. But I really, really, really did enjoy the action, the fighting, and the animation. So yeah, for the CGI on the fight scenes.
Yeah, look, going into these types of movies that it's not going to be a cinematic masterpiece in the sense of the story or stuff like that. Like, it's hard to forget that we just watched Godzilla -1 just 4 months ago, whatever it was. And that, to me, is a cinematic masterpiece. Now, going to this, I didn't expect a cinematic masterpiece. All I hoped for was something badass. And you know what? It did deliver on the badass, especially all those fight scenes. Some made you sort of giggle and smirk, and some made you like move off your seat because it's just like the impact. And yeah, I think it really hit all those points. But because like we touched on, it doesn't have the human aspect, which is good, but it just felt it does, for me, it dragged out just a little bit. But I did really enjoy the fight scenes and all the interactions with all the different kaiju. That was top tier for me. And being in the Hollow Realm was really, really cool. And like you said, things felt small. It's like when they jumped in that sort of, it looked like an ocean. Yeah. And they jumped in and it barely covers their knees. And I'm just like, oh yeah. But it's because they're so big, and that aspect of it, it does really show like the creativeness, and they didn't overthink things, and everything sort of flowed through. And yeah, when they go back to Earth, like you said, like that end fight scene, like that's all you hope for. When you go for a Godzilla or Kong movie, you just hope the fight scene's really on the edge of your seat stuff and really impactful. And yeah, I thought it was a fun movie to go see. I do say to recommend to watch it in the cinema because the big screen and the sound really, really is what it's made for. So
yeah. I mean, the budget, 135 million, box office already over 200 million. So I think that really tells you all you need to know.
It just shows the audience knows that this movie is designed to go watch in the cinema.
Yeah.
It's clear.
It is the big screen experience that you want. Yeah, I really don't think that in terms of a Godzilla film, there's not something that really compares to it. There's not a film that I could pick that has all the different kaiju in it and goes to the Hollow Earth especially. So it's something different. If you're going to watch a Godzilla or a Kong movie, because I know they've split the franchise now, they've joined them together. If you're going to see something, it is a different experience. So it is worth it to see in the cinema.
And I feel like the different kaiju didn't ever feel like they pulled away from Kong or Godzilla. I think we need to make that clear. Like, they are the big boys.
Yeah.
And everyone knows they're the big boys. Like, even the main villain, you could say, is still you knew, like, Godzilla and Kong are like,
Yeah.
they're the
how they
ones to
presented
be.
them.
Yeah.
You could tell they're not the central focus through the colors, through the way, especially like, because it's the Scar King. That's
Yeah.
the main
Oh,
antagonist for Kong.
Yeah.
And you could tell the way he looks, the disheveled nature, you know, the red band for prisoner kind of thing. And same with the antagonist to Godzilla, the colors that they use, you can tell they're a bit more, you know, the ice, the coolness, the evil side of it.
Yeah. And their fighting aspects are different too.
Yep.
Like they made sure Godzilla and the ice
Yep.
kaiju, their beams are totally different.
Yep.
And Kong and
And Scar King, yeah.
Scar King, one uses like a ranged whip.
Yeah.
You see in the trailer, Kong uses the axe. So it's like polar opposites, but you can tell it doesn't feel convoluted or you don't get distracted by anything. It's pretty straightforward to the point what you're viewing, which I think they deserve a pat on the back for that. Because I didn't feel confused at all. Because you think maybe with all these different aspects, you feel kind of lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they really pinpoint what you're supposed to focus at.
One funny thing.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention. One thing that made somebody who were watching the film with laugh was there's a scene where Kong first interacts with other people from his species and he's running away from them and he meets Mini Kong and he uses him as a weapon to beat them away.
that's
That was so funny because I didn't see it coming and all of a sudden it's fantastic.
Yeah, like I get the point from you guys. Like when we watch Transformers, Decepticons, you can't just tell any difference. But
Yeah, pretty much.
here we could tell. And I actually really like Scar King. I think he was menacing, so it does add to the stakes of the movie.
Yeah.
And there's a scene like I don't know. I'm not gonna say who hit the suplex. They hit a suplex. And as a wrestling fan, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then there is a tag team match too. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like,
Yeah, they definitely
yeah.
had fun with this movie.
yeah, 100%. They were
And
having a lot of
definitely paid off.
Yeah, well, you can tell they cared about it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a money grab and sometimes it's a passion. And I think this was more passion side than money grab side, in my
yeah,
opinion.
true.
All right, guys, we're going to give our scores.
Yeah.
How many kaijus out of 10, Moon?
I'll give it 7.5 kaijus out of 10.
John?
I'm going to give it 8 kaijus out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it 7 kaijus out of 10. All right, guys, make sure to like, share the video, tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.